Our reporter Anya Adayeva, who is in Moscow. Anya, very good evening to you. Russia says it's hitting IS areas, but describes targets where the group is absent. What is the Russian government saying about those reports?
Moscow continues to insist that it's targeting terrorists. It denied the accusations of civilian casualties and called them information warfare. And according to the latest defense ministry report, out of the 12 targets that were hit in the past 24 hours, there was a command center, a field camp, and other terrorist locations.
Washington says this campaign is a pretext to target other Assad enemies and not IS. Any truth to this statement?
Well, Russia never really denied its close links to Syria's President Bashar al-Assad. In fact, Russian President Vladimir Putin has spoken out repeatedly in his support, saying that he is the only legitimate leader of Syria. He has only spoken out against the so-called color revolutions, which Vladimir Putin says are sponsored by the West. Vladimir Putin also said that a political dialogue is possible in Syria, but only with healthy opposition. So Moscow certainly insists that it's providing assistance to Bashar al-Assad and his forces in fighting with terrorists. But the thing is, by terrorists, Moscow understands any force that is not willing to engage in a political dialogue with Bashar al-Assad.
Now, the US-led coalition has called on the Russians to halt strikes on targets other than Islamic State. Are the Russians heeding this call? Do they view it in a serious light?
Well, not really. I mean, relations between Russia and the West have already reached the lowest point in decades after Russia's involvement in the conflict in Ukraine. A number of Russian companies and individuals are currently under Western sanctions imposed on Russia over its role in Ukraine. These sanctions were imposed last year and extended this year, and many American and European companies have already shut down their businesses in Russia. However, Russia's foreign ministry said that it could theoretically join the US-led coalition in Syria, but only if Syria's current government is involved in this process.
Anya, the leaders of Russia and France, the two countries which began bombing in Syria this week, are discussing the crisis at a meeting in Paris. What, if anything, is likely to come out of this meeting or attempt at diplomacy?
It's very difficult to say at this point because the meeting is still underway. Originally, the meeting was supposed to be focusing on Ukraine and on the implementation of the Minsk peace agreement in Ukraine, which was signed in February and which expires in December. However, it's very likely that the leaders of France and Germany will question their Russian counterpart about Russian arms deliveries to Syria and the latest airstrikes as well.
That was our correspondent coming to us live from Moscow, Anya Adayeva.